Hey there everyone, this is Joe in general, your resident reason and evidence enthusiast. It is Monday the 8th of January 2018, and as promised from yesterday's video where I happened to announce some pretty cool news, you can see it right there in the thumbnail, I promised I would give a series of crypto analysis videos because this is my first analyses since taking a break from videos over the Christmas New Year's period. Have a lot of analysis to do on various different cryptos. So this is probably video one of at least or two more coming within the next 24 to 48 hours, checking out a whole bunch of different cryptos that I'm currently watching. But today I will be looking in this video at the big 3+1. They happen to be Bitcoin, of course, Litecoin, Ethereum, and finally EOS or EOS. Now at any time if you want to skip ahead to your favorite coin, I'll put a link to the time codes in the info section of the YouTube page and as part of the pinned comment. If you want to join the family, hit the big red subscribe button right there. A total now of 7,841 subscribers. Welcome to the newbies. In this video, not only did I mention my very good news, but I also happened to give some quick general cryptocurrency advice for 2018. You might want to check that out. So let's get on to Bitcoin. I'm going to keep these really brief, I promise. So bitcoinwisdom.com website and the tradingview.com website, what I'll be using for the Bitcoin price. It is the Bitstamp exchange on both charts, and of course it's priced in US dollars. Now, in my video, the last video where I mentioned Bitcoin right here, we had come off that $20,000 roughly top. It was 19,666. We'd yet to post in the absolute low, and the low that I was talking about roughly was if we were going to go down further, we might come back to, as we tend to do, we come up to a Fibonacci level and then we drop back to it or close to it. We've done it here, we did it here, we've done it back here, and I thought again we'd once again do it here. We might come back to this 11,400 level roughly, or possibly down to the 18 average of highs, and I think it was around about sort of 10,500, 10,800 at the time. And lo and behold, we did see a bit more of a dip. Let's go over to tradingview.com. This is the weekly time frame, and bear in mind it's also the logarithmic chart. But we did happen to, after having that pierce above this Fibonacci level here of 18,300, and I did mention in that previous one of my previous videos is we'd probably top out possibly at a little bit pierce above that Fibonacci level at around about 20. We did do that, and then lo and behold, we've come back down to this previous Fibonacci level, and it's close enough to that 18 average of highs right there. So we kind of did retrace all the way back down to that general level. Let's quickly go into the micro. I just wanted to mention one thing out of interest, and then we'll come back to this macro view. This is the bitcoinwisdom.com website. So we had this play set up here of the symmetrical triangle pattern. This is on the 6-hour time frame, I think it is. Yeah. As you can see here, we had this downtrend line and we had this uptrend line right here. We eventually did break through, and now it became a level of support of this downtrend line. But I just want to, out of interest, this line right here, it was a bit of resistance and then it's become a slight level of support. It's just interesting. I find this technical analysis stuff so fascinating, and my subscribers, you've seen this many times before, but these are the different trend channels. Here's the original one right here, and all I've done is I've manually put in these lines, trying to match it as close to the distance between this original trend channel, the bottom and the top line there. So it's not exact, it is manual, but I tried to get as close as I could. And it's just interesting, you know, check this out. After we broke up through this symmetrical triangle pattern, this was a rough area of resistance and a sort of a rough area of support at the moment. So, you know, while it's not an exact science, I really do find this trend channel stuff to be pretty good as well. There has been certain points where it's been pretty accurate too. And as you can see, a level of support right there as well. So I'm going to continue to use this for the future until, you know, evidence proves otherwise. So let's go back to the longer term view. And I'll give you a quick opinion. Of course, it's my own opinion. It's not financial advice. So I think, personally, we are not going to see lower prices from here. And I do think the bias is to the upside. I think there's probably a 20% chance of seeing lower prices from here. If it is going to occur, what you might find is this area right here. Let me go back into a little bit further. Could this area here be a dead cat bounce situation where we come down, we come back up, but it's a fake out, and then we end up coming back down? Yep, that's a possibility. Maybe 20%, maybe even 10% chance. But if we were to come back down, I think we'd only ever come back down to possibly the bottom, where are we? The 18 average of lows right here, and that'd be hovering around about your kind of $10,000. But I think that's, look, I'm gonna say 90% chance that we're not going to do that. So 10% chance that we might, 90% chance that we are going to see higher prices from here. My opinion, of course. So where could we move up from here? Where we've got these next Fibonacci levels. I have talked about these a couple of times. Moving up from here, the next significant Fibonacci is right here at 29,490 something. Comfortably call that 30,000. And the one moving up from here, the next significant point is 47,600. Very easily, you can call that the psychological barrier of 50,000, which would be a pierce above that. We tend to have a little bit of a pierce above, as you can see right here, when we come up to a Fibonacci level, and we tend to come back down, as I said, to a previous Fibonacci level. Right here, we did not spend too much time at this Fibonacci level right here of, what was that, at about your sort of $7,000 mark. We did see a bit of a retracement, but we tended we pretty much on the weekly time frame, we quite sailed through this this one here, and we went right up to here. So my opinion is the following. I think, and of course I could be wrong, but I think that we are going to pretty much sail through this next Fibonacci level here of 30,000, and we're going to head straight on to 50,000. Based on a couple of things, but let's have a look at, we'll use the price range tool. Now, again, of course, I could be wrong and it's not financial advice, but let's have a look at some price increases in percentage from previous highs to new highs. So let's take this old high right here, and we'll do to the new high that it posted before a significant retracement. That is a 66% increase in the price, again, from the old high to the new high that it posted before a retracement, as you can see. So it was a 66% increase. And then we had a retracement of approximately 40%. All right. Out of interest, let's just check this one right here, back here. Old high to a new high, that was a 120% increase before posting a roughly 40% retracement. Okay, let's do the old high to, I'll do it to here, but it's kind of, this is kind of the more major one, because from here, right, let me get rid of that. There we go. This retracement from here to here was only about, well, not even 30%. So I'm going to discount that for now, and I'm going to count it from this old high, punching through here, through this Fibonacci level where we didn't really spend any time at, and all the way up to here. That's a 285% increase. Okay, that's pretty huge. If we do it from here to here, that's a roughly 60% increase. Okay, so let's check out where would it be if we go from here to the next Fibonacci line, which is 30,000. That's a 50% increase, okay? And from here to here is a 150 roughly, well, to 50,000. It's about right there, 150, 160% increase. I think we are going to maybe spend a little bit of time here, but it might be more like here and not like here, if that makes sense. So we could spend a little time here, but I don't think that's going to be the significant resistance before we see a large retracement. Because if we come back from 30,000 back down to here to, where are we? About your 20,000, that's a 30% retracement. Pretty decent. But what I think we could potentially see is coming off this 50,000 mark right here before we post that larger retracement, and that tends to be closer to your 40% than 30% when we have a large retracement, as I just showed you before. And a 40% retracement roughly is down to this Fibonacci line of 30,000. So that's why I think, in my opinion, again, that we may sail, and I'm not going to give you a 100% guarantee, but we may sail through here, come up to here, post that 50% level, and then have your 40% retracement back down to this Fibonacci level right here. That is my opinion, and I'm going to stick with that for Bitcoin. Now, what I'm going to do is I am going to be posting a separate video entitled Bitcoin Price Prediction for 2018 with technical analysis. And that's because my very first crypto video that I did early last year was the exact same thing. Where are we? Right, man, it's quite a while ago now. Right here, Bitcoin price prediction for 2017. So this is going to be not for my regular subscribers. I think most of you are probably, you're well adverse with the cryptos now. I wouldn't call you, basic beginners, but I do want to make a video for people who type in, YouTube search, Bitcoin price prediction 2018. I want to be one of those ones that comes up on the top page. So a little bit of a kind of a clickbaity thing, but I do want to do that video, but I'll be doing it and giving my price prediction for the minimum amount that I think Bitcoin will hit by the end of 2018, the very bare minimum that is. So you guys, when you see that video, you can click and watch it if you like. It's probably going to be a price that you probably think, yeah, I've already thought about that price anyway. So again, it's probably for the newbies who are not subscribers to my channel. Anyway, that is Bitcoin. Let's get straight on to Litecoin. Right here, Litecoin, one of the best cryptos to be involved in, particularly right now. We've posted that high of, where are we, 371 roughly, and we had that massive retracement all the way down to 150. I hope you guys, some of you got in there. I did get in back in around about this price. I sold some, it was around about here-ish, and did buy a little bit back in. I think it was around about this 200 kind of area, I believe. I'd have to check my things, check my my orders, but it was around about this price. I didn't hit here at the 150, but right now, let's take a look at where we could move upwards from here, because I do think Litecoin is going to be one of the superstars in 2018. Again, I'll just keep this really, really quick, just go through the different Fibonacci levels. Of course, we need to break through the old high of 370, and we may find that these Fibonacci levels right here, which is based on the old high and the old low, may come into play. It certainly was in play right here. As you can see, this was a level of resistance right here at the 61.8, and then it was a level of support at the 23.6. Pretty amazing, the old Fibonacci. Again, a level of resistance here at the 50%, and a little bit of support-ish kind of area at 38.2. So we may sort of come up to the 78.6 and then drop back a little bit before we come up to the all-time high, and then we will bust through that this year without a doubt, and probably within the next month or so, if not sooner. But the next major levels, you've got the 1.618 level, again from this old high and this old low of $507. Comfortably call that the $500 mark. What you will quite likely see, if this is the significant area of resistance, you may see it come up to the $500 mark, have a sell-off, and come back down to around the old high. That's what we tend to do. That's for people who've been in the crypto game for a while, that is not surprising news to any of you. But if you're a newbie to my channel, or if you've watching my videos for the first time, we do tend to come up to a significant Fibonacci level, and we do visit old highs. That is a very well-worn pattern. So you could potentially see up to there and then back to there briefly at some point, or around that kind of level. And moving up from here, this year, let's talk about this year. And again, it's just based on this high and this low. These Fibonacci levels may change as we post new highs. But the next significant level above the 1.618 is the 2.272 and the 2.618. We may hover if we do not find a significant level of resistance here. We may punch straight through and sort of hover around this area here of between about 650 to 720 roughly, moving higher from here. And this is, we're talking a little bit down the track here, maybe a few months down the track. Of course, you've got that big psychological value of $1,000. That'll be a big event in the Litecoin market. When we hit $1,000, everyone will be going nuts, and you'll probably be seeing quite a bit of a sell-off from 1,000. And that's when you come up to 1,000, if we've posted kind of a significant resistance point here, you may see it come back down for a brief touch of support at around about this level here. But this 4.236 Fibonacci level, again, from this high, this low, is at 1,084. I think you can comfortably call that the $1,000 psychological barrier. May not hit that exactly. Moving up from here, let's leave those until I think we post. Well, we'll leave those until we get to, I think, that $1,000 psychological barrier. So this high and this low will stay in play for now, and that is where I think Litecoin will be going in the next few months, possibly. Look, I would suggest, and again, it's just my opinion, and it's probably a prediction that is, you know, what am I trying to say? I'm trying to say by the end of June, I think we'd hit that $1,000 mark, and I think that's a low ball. I think we might hit it before then, but let's just to play it safe, $1,000 Litecoin before the end of the half of the year, so the end of June, in my opinion. So that is Litecoin. Let's move on to Ethereum. I've been doing a number of Ethereum videos recently. Right here, this is when I announced, and I'm sure others did too, but looks like we were having a breakout happening. This was over a month ago. It's probably closer to 2 months ago now. Where are we? This is when we are coming up to the top of this symmetrical triangle pattern. We're kind of around here. I was suggesting, oh, it looks like it's going to break out. And then yes, indeed, we did break out. We posted at a key Fibonacci level out of interest. I showed you guys on a previous video. Let's just show you again. I find this stuff really fascinating. It was from this high and this low, and look at that right there, the 1.618. That's where we topped out at about $520. Isn't that amazing? So we did that, and then I was suggesting, of course, you know, we may come back and test the old high, and we did do that and have a little bit of a pierce below, came down to this downtrend line right here, and of course we'd had these Fibonacci extension points, all these right here and moving higher. We've had these drawn in since back here from this old high, this old low, and that is definitely still in play. Right here we posted again. Right here, it came up right on the money, right here at $860. Again, this is the Fibonacci from this high back in, when was that? This high back in June of last year, and this low, this 2.618. I talked about this level before, this $860 level, and I had also talked about moving up from there, this $1,300 level, which is the 4.236 Fibonacci extension point from this high and this low. Definitely now seems, and many other YouTuber crypto people have been talking about that $1,300 level. I'm not the only one, of course. Definitely seems like, I think, the level of resistance that we will hit, and we'll see a retracement from there. How large of a retracement? Well, if we're on the daily time frame right now, what you can see is we did post a little retracement here. We came up to 1,000 again, right? Psychological barrier, and we came back down to about 900 roughly. You may see after we post the high, I think it will be of about $1,300. We may see a retracement back down to that $1,000 psychological barrier before we head higher. Where can we head higher after $13,000? Well, I think still, I'm going to keep it for now, that this high here and this low here is still in play, so we will still use these Fibonacci extension levels from that high and that low. The next point, I think, would be after 1300. We might be creeping up closer to that $2,000 level. That's the 6.854 Fibonacci extension level. On the way up to there, you have a sort of a slight psychological barrier at possibly 1500. However, that's pretty damn close to the 1300 level. So a $700 move from 1300 to 2000 roughly, which would be a psychological barrier, isn't huge. It's pretty big, but it's not massive. So after here, I think we could see our way up to 2000 and before we see a significant retracement back down. That's my opinion on Litecoin. If we move down from here, if we do not post a $1,300 level, if we're topping out right here at about $1,230, you could potentially, because we haven't seen it as yet technically, We did come back, as I said, to about the the $900 level. We technically haven't posted we haven't come back to this old high of 860. So potentially, if this is a down move from here, if we're not going higher from here, you could see it come back down to that 860 level. But that $1,000 psychological barrier, I think, is going to be a big level of support. So this may not ever, you may not ever see this again. But the bias is to hitting that $1,300 level and coming back from there, a little bit of a retracement. That is Litecoin, my friends. Let's move on to EOS, one of my favorites. I have a significant portion of EOS. It's at a great price, in my opinion, currently hovering at $9.50. We posted a high of $12.50, and I did talk about this in one of my other videos. A huge, look at that, all the way down to $3. Can you imagine if you had some crazy buy orders in here? Just, you know, that's amazing, and I certainly hope most of you did. But we've got the high here of $12.50 roughly, the low of $3, and we have the Fibonacci extension points based on those highs and those lows. We were in a downtrend for a little bit, but then we did break through that downtrend line. We've come up to around about that 78.6 Fibonacci level, about $10.40, $10.50. And back down now. So I think the bias for me is to the upside. I don't think we're going to see a significant retracement back down from here. I think we've certainly done that at $3. We could come back very quickly and visit this 61.8 level here of about $8.90 roughly, but the bias in the medium to long term is to the upside. Let's take a quick look at where we could move up from here, where the significant levels of significant high levels may be before a retracement. The first level is, of course, at the old high of $12.50, but in general, what you see once you form a high and then you have a retracement and then you come back up to the high, it doesn't usually become another significant level of resistance. It might sort of knock on the door a little bit, maybe consolidate through time around this area, but we don't tend to post a double top and then it's all the way back down again. So I think once we come up here, maybe it's just sort of knocking on the door, but I think we are going to break through that pretty quickly after coming up to this level. The first little level here, I just want you to take a look at this trend line from this old high here of about $5.50, and it's running through this new high of $12.50. So you've got that trend line right there. That could be a slight level of resistance that we just need to punch through, and then when we eventually punch through it, it may then become a level of support. I hope that makes sense to you. But the next significant Fibonacci level is the 1.618 of $18.40. And you could potentially comfortably call that maybe your $20 mark. It's kind of a psychological barrier, that 20, but that's a pretty significant way above this Fibonacci level right here. So for now, I'm going to say around about your $18.50 could be where we top out for a little bit before we see a little bit of a retracement, and we could either retrace all the way back down to the previous high, as we tend to do. We do visit old highs, $12.50, or potentially just bounce off this trend line here, which is through those 2 points. Moving higher from here, and this is over the slightly longer term, over this coming few months. The next level is around about $24.60, call it 25 right there, I think would be very comfortable. That's at 2.272, but the 2.618 is at $27.90. And moving higher from here, the 4.236 is at $43.30. That's coming pretty close-ish to your $50 psychological barrier. But let's just stick with for now. Let's stick with for now the calls of that $18.50 level with a retracement back down to this area at some point. That'll be this of the medium analysis for now with EOS. All right, that is 4 coins of many that I want to be doing. I probably want to do, as I said, at least another 2 videos, probably 3 or 4 coins in each. So I will end this video now and get started on the next couple. Of course, if you want to join the family, hit the big red subscribe button right there. Thanks, gang. Stay safe, stay informed. Speak soon.